Do you have a better chance of getting people to go to Euro Disney or buy a World Cup jersey from any country? There was a guy, you know that big store on Robson Street?
Yeah.
There was a guy who was like, you know that Simpsons episode, Euro Disney is open for business.
Yeah.
Come on, I need wine. The guy was like, World Cup jerseys, check them out, only $250. Anybody?
No.
Should we be saving this for the show? I feel like we've got some good material here.
I think that might be the first cold open of the season.
We get a lot of shots. Everybody come to their net. We just have to get more and more pucks to their net.
Pucks on net.
Well, that's the key. We got to get the puck on net.
What were you saying about putting pucks on net?
It was nice to get pucks on net.
He's got that nick for the net too. He just throws puck on net.
Been talking about getting pucks on net.
Pucks on net and driving and making a hard night on them.
Live on tape once again from the Pucks on Net studios. This is Pucks on Net, a Vancouver hockey podcast. Doesn't talk about fantasy or fancy stats. It is summer's over in this town because it is absolutely miserable outside, but we're here. Enforced yet your will. The podcast is back.
My fall wardrobe is far superior to anything I wear in the summer, so yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
We're back.
It's nice to be able to cover up again, you know.
Oh yeah, as you know, some of us little svelte individuals like PMAC and myself, a nice jacket goes a long way in this town.
You know, I can crush donuts at will again.
Leave something to the imagination, you know.
The beach bod is back in the closet.
Thanks for joining us, wherever you got us from, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Pucksnet.ca, blah, blah, blah. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at Pucksnet.ca or Pucksnet.ca. And it feels good to be back.
It does, doesn't it?
How you guys doing?
Pretty good. We're watching some World Cup of whatever the hell this is supposed to be.
You know, the first time I saw the...
I'm doing shoulder checks here to see it because it's behind me.
Yeah, I should have set a mirror up.
Spin around,
it.
P-Man.
No, I don't care that much.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Won't even turn around to look at it.
The first... PMAC's opinion on the World Cup of hockey. I'm not turning around for it.
It's right there. You could just turn around.
There's like
your chair swivels. It's fine.
There's a 50-inch HD TV behind you.
It's Team USA versus Hodgepodge.
Is anybody else bored with it already? Like, I was more excited than I thought I would be for the first few pre-tournament games, and then there was 100. There's more pre-tournament games, I'm pretty sure, than there are actual games in the tournament. I'm already bored. Like, I don't care.
You know what? Cash grab. You know what this is? It's one of those phone booth things with the money flying around, and Gary and Bill are just grabbing it.
I'm still mad. I went in for my Ben Hutton jersey to the Canucks team store a couple weeks back. You get Team North America everything, but no Ben Hutton jerseys. That just seems like a shame. And all those 21 Sutter skate jerseys are
they're going for
maybe they're on
nickel
discount now, but they had a lot when I was in there.
Number 21, 2 for 1, bud.
Big Canucks news. Brandon Sutter, new number. I didn't even know what number he wore last year because he never played.
Has he got a new number?
He's wearing 20 now, so Louis, the Sedin's BFF, can wear his 21.
Oh, that's nice of him.
Yeah,
it is. It's kind of sad though, because like 21 was his dad's number. Like
that just means his dad was a fan of Stan Mikita. So was my dad. You don't see me crying about it.
Good donuts.
I think his dad wanted to wear 12, but had to get reversed or something. I forget how that worked.
I know what you mean, though, P-Mac, just going back to what you're saying, the World Cup pre-tournament game burnout. Like, we were all into it because we love hockey, and we miss it. And the Mariners have had a so-so season.
Whoa.
I know, they won 8 straight, and then they got blown out last night. But...
shit. Podcast is over. I'm going home.
Yeah, you know, like baseball, CFL football getting more and more uncool every year.
Oh, my God, yeah.
That is like a day old at the bakery right there. No one's taking that shit.
They're kind of setting themselves back a bit. You know, it's just, it reminds me of the Olympics closing ceremonies when they went super nostalgia Canadian on it, and that's kind of what the CFL's doing. They're not going forward. They're going back, but they want to go forward.
I have a quick plan for how they can turn things around short term. Just get some players to start kneeling during the anthem.
Oh, man. Well, if Trudeau approves that pipeline like he's going to, then you might get some of that. But, no, it's, you know, we've talked about this before. Like, you know, they're not making new fans, and, you know, everybody's getting older, and there's not that many dads left around. There's only one guy at the table here who still has one, and he loves him, the CFL.
My dad, I didn't hear one mention of the CFL in my household growing up.
Well, then there you go. But
back to the World Cup, though. You bring up the pre-tournament games. You know, the problem was everybody was so excited. You know, curious about that hockey, and they put out Canada, or they put out North America versus Team Europe, and they just flew all over the place. And Canada and U.S. in their first pre-tournament game,
like Game 6 and 7 of the Stanley
they
Cup final.
beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah, it was great.
And then I think that everybody kind of looked at each other and said, well, that's really exciting, but holy shit, we got another month of this. Maybe we should slow down. They blew their load in the first 20 minutes.
It did kind of feel like that, didn't it? And maybe all the GMs got on a conference call and like, whoa.
Hey, boys, why don't you just slow her down a little bit?
We got 162 games left in this season. And no one's going to win the Stanley Cup at the World Cup. You're going to win that ugly vase that artist
how did
designed.
the vase come back?
It lives. Why? I would rather see the Canada Cup trophy back. Since this tournament is in Canada, it will always be in Canada because no one else will buy tickets to it.
Yeah. And I think I don't know why they had to change it to World Cup. Like, Canada Cup had some history. 15 years of clout behind it.
Yeah, 76, Daryl Sittler, 81. Who knows what happened there?
And Gretzky Lemieux, that happened at the Canada Cup, not the World Cup.
But when Canada's not winning it every year, it's a little embarrassing from a Canadian standpoint to say, like, have the Americans with, like, a Maple Leaf trophy.
Well, it happened. The Russians won it in 81.
Oh, yeah, I know it happens.
But the tournament's held in Canada, so it's kind of like the Canada Cup. It's like an invitational type tournament.
But from a Canadian Hockey Canada standpoint, you don't want to be giving away something that, like, there's something there, like you're giving away a piece of Canadian pride.
I think that ups the ante and makes it a little more interesting. Now, I don't think you can call this tournament the World Cup with these two goofball teams in it. I think it's kind of a slap in the tits to the fans.
It's an NHL international, like, extended all-star tournament.
Yeah, call it, rendezvous or some shit like that. I don't know. Anything but the World Cup. The World Cup just seems wildly inappropriate, and now it's kind of funny because I didn't really realize how I felt about it until it was right in front of me. And I'm like, just call it the Rogers NHL International Challenge.
Yeah, throw challenge in there. That kind of gives it a little mystique.
Because I think we'd all be a little cooler with the cash. And there's the Federation logos aren't involved. It's an all NHL product. I would have liked to seen Canada wear the Hockey Canada unis.
Of course,
That would make it seem a little more legit.
Like 04.
Yeah.
There's one thing I was thinking of, and why nobody cares about. I think the buzz of Team Canada is over in this country. Because in the 90s, they lost the 96 World Cup. They lost the 98.
By the way, great series if you go back and look at it. You want to talk about, like, angry feelings?
Bloodthirsty.
That was a blood feud.
Like, even Trevor Linden was fighting in that tournament.
Yeah.
96 they lost. 98 they were embarrassed. 2002 they had this team that was all of our favorite players going up.
It was the swan song for the old guys.
So they finally won, and it was awesome. 04, lockout coming. Let's have a World Cup. Basically the same team. They did it again. Lemieux gets his swan song. That was great. And then they win it on home soil. That's great. And then 2014, they have the most dominant, scary team in the world, and they just steamroll over everybody.
You never really felt like they were, even when they were up 1-0 in games. It felt over.
Yeah.
Like I think offensively that team missed a few people, but certainly that defense, it was like Dikembe Mutombo standing under the under the rim of the hoop. Just I don't think so.
No.
The finger wag, Drew Doughty's finger wag.
So now Canada is this like powerhouse, and you can't.
Oh, is that our KHL correspondent?
Yeah, you can't. Like, they're gonna win. They've won so much. They're the heel that keeps winning, and you need.
Did they go full John Cena?
They're the NWO, and I don't like to bring up too much wrestling.
Now, let me ask you.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds.
I don't remember back
intimidating.
that far.
Now, New World Order, right?
Let me ask you.
Government stuff.
You two guys this. I want to ask you guys this.
Yeah.
If we're going to go with your idea that Canada is stale, if there was no Team North America and we were seeing Connor McDavid and John and guys like that, playing for Team Canada, would that make it a little more sexy and a little more interesting?
Oh, 100%.
I would rather see Connor McDavid playing with Sidney Crosby than Connor McDavid with Austin Matthews and
Johnny Hockey
and the $8 million man Johnny Hockey.
What's Geeta? Are you there?
I'm here.
Where are you?
I'm. Like, literally? I'm in a hallway.
What?
Sounds like a bathroom.
Yeah, what country are you in?
Okay, do you want me to go away from here?
No.
What country am I in?
Just tell us.
I'm in the Czech Republic.
There you go.
How does that sound?
Are you at the Glansbergs in the Czech Republic?
I'm not with the Glansbergs. I should. I want to steal their hashtag.
What you doing? Are you scouting for the KHL? Is that what you're doing? Are you looking at Slava Praha?
No, I was keeping an eye on the world team.
Our live correspondent from Eastern Europe. Now, Prague is one of my favorite cities I've ever visited, but I did also find that on the weekends it turns into bachelor party heaven for French and British guys.
Oh my God, it was totally like Vegas. We went out to dinner and I'm like, at the bottom of the menu, it says you can have your beer in a to-go cup.
Yeah. It's a really, you can see what the city used to be and you can see what it's becoming now, and it's a bit too bad.
It's great. It's also really sleepy.
Like, oh yeah, it's 8 o'clock and it goes to bed.
No, like we were out around 5-ish, and it seemed very quiet. I don't know. Is that about right?
Yeah, that's about right. Now, the good nightclubs, from what I remember, this was 2014, are underground. They're under the street.
Oh, not like underground, not like illegal underground.
No, they're like literally under the ground. So if you go into Old Town, amongst these several million crystal shops, I don't know what that's about. By the way, that's ridiculous.
The Swarovski check.
Yeah, there's a bunch of bars underneath the street.
Scotland has a bit of that too. I like that.
But if you heads up, if you're there on a Saturday, a British guy will throw up on you. I'm getting married. Happened to me.
It's a good thing I arrived on a Saturday and I'm exhausted.
But the fried cheese sandwiches are fantastic. Well, what are you doing there? I back to that. Why are you there?
This is my yearly European jaunt.
Okay, yeah. She jaunts there. That guy's coming back in a body bag.
Her mom? Are there any statues of Jaromir Jagr around?
You know what? I haven't had time to explore yet. You're catching me really early in this trip.
Have you?
I've been flying for 2 days because I don't have a voice.
You haven't found the Jaromir Jagr bar. Now in Prague,
is there a Jaromir Jagr bar?
There's a bar called Jagr's, and it's got life-size like wax style statues of Jagr in every NHL jersey that he's ever worn, and it's a Czech hockey bar called Jagr's. Now, I was in there one night when the missus went to bed early, and it was all Canadians. I was like, oh, well, I'll get to talk.
Do you know where it is? Like, where am I going to look for it?
It's sort of near the main entrance to the Charles River Bridge. Like, it's right.
I find that.
Yeah, it's not far from there. And again, it's about 1 or 2 steps below street level. But you can you can find it on the Google. I
will be Googling.
Yeah. So that being said, Geeta, you have to go to the Jagr bar while you're there. I know I shouldn't ask because I imagine you always keep one bundled up in your purse, but wear your Pucks on Net shirt, obviously. And
I, you know what? I think I might have left it on my bed when I was packing.
Oh, Jesus. Anyway, please.
We can fix that in post.
Yeah.
You can Photoshop that in,
yeah.
But I was watching World play the U.S. I know there's some controversy with the U.S. team. Did Bufflin kneel for the anthem or something?
Bufflin is sitting tonight in the first game against Team Europe.
He kneeled in the press box, but that's because he just dropped his popcorn.
Jeez, man. He's on the bench, and everyone's saying, well, maybe it's because of Torts, but it might just be he's kind of slow and
he hasn't skated himself.
Not game ready.
Yeah, he hasn't skated himself into shape yet. He's been eating a lot of Johnsonville brats at some lake in Minnesota.
Bufflin's cooking Johnsonville brats.
Johnsonville brats.
No, everybody's gonna all these drunk boaters.
Tim Cheveldayoff's gonna come over here and he's gonna see how out of shape I'm in. If you can't touch your toes, you can't play in the World Cup. Fact.
That's true.
Well, if you can't see your toes, you can't touch them.
Geeta, because you sound a little exhausted. You're speaking a little quietly.
I was all over Ontario yesterday, from North Bay to Etobicoke.
Yeah, and can you let the Pucks on Net listeners know who's from Etobicoke?
Jason Spezza was born there.
Oh no! Did you make a Spezza pilgrimage? Did you go to his parents' house? Ray Finkel's house. I can't wait to meet him.
You see, there's the car's running, but nobody's behind the wheel.
It was all that Daniel Alfredsson's fault. Everyone knows that.
So Geeta, we'll let you go here, but thanks for calling in halfway across the world. And
no problem. Hey, now you know we can do this podcast no matter where we are in the world.
You have 3 professional hockey teams in that city playing right now. You should try to check a game out if you can and provide us.
Not on vacation. Don't go to hockey games.
I'm so curious. I want a first-hand account from somebody I know on a KHL game. Because they got a KHL team in that town.
Oh my God, Geeta, go try and go to a KHL game, please. Yager Bar and KHL. You're there for several days.
I will. I'll look into it all.
Or just find the arenas, but please go.
Wait. Prague may have lost their KHL team, but they certainly have at least 3 Extraliga teams playing. In Prague. So anyway, there's lots of hockey.
I'll inquire.
Let us know what Thomas Cabriolet is up to.
All right, thanks, Geeta.
Bye.
That was nice to hear from Geeta.
Yeah.
Before we get into hockey, I have a story I want to tell.
She'll actually probably be able to watch the game tonight pretty easily because they're playing the Czechs, and they apparently they do a big screen for all the big national team games in Old Town. So
really,
yeah, it's
that
a big
Yager
thing.
Bar sounds awesome.
It wasn't.
Oh.
It was awesome in it was awesome in that they had the wax statues, but it was also just I don't know. It was a tourist trap bar.
But just the idea of it, Yager Bar, that's kind of cool.
The most expensive beer that I bought in Europe that year was at that bar.
Well, I mean, that's Jeremy Yager beer.
Was it the best beer?
They got lucky.
Okay, so I want to tell a story. I think I've told both of you this, but I really want to. It's about my summer vacation.
The summer of Ryan.
The summer of Ryan. I took a jaunt down to the Bay Area, mainly Berkeley, and to stay with a friend of the show, friend of mine, Pagani.
Should you say that? People are going to be trying to stay at her place now on a regular basis.
It's a good Airbnb stop.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I went there under the impression I was staying on a air mattress, and I thought camping or pool floaty.
She had a proper guest bed?
It had no. It was an air mattress with a pump in it that you plugged in.
Yeah, I got one of those at my place.
I'm gonna buy one of those. If you want to stay at my place, well,
air bed's the new futon.
That is because futon's just ugly as shit.
Futon.
So anyway, we went to the Giants game at the AT&T Park, but in Berkeley where I was staying is just north of Oakland. And sure enough, that the Baltimore Orioles on the day before we went to the Giants game, they were playing the Athletics in a day game.
The fucking birds. I've seen more Orioles games than probably most people from Baltimore.
Well,
everywhere I go in the world where there's baseball, the Baltimore Orioles happen to be there.
You're at Yankee Stadium, you see Baltimore.
Yeah.
We go down to Safeco 2 years ago.
They're playing the birds. I'm randomly in Tampa Bay with my dad in one of the first years that the Devil Rays existed. And who'd we see?
Oh, Baltimore.
The Baltimore Orioles. When I was in San Francisco, there's the Giants interleague game.
You too?
Against the frickin' birds. Everywhere I go, the birds are playing.
So I saw them twice in 2 days. They mopped the floor with those Bay Area teams, but I digress. If for those hockey fans, for those that don't know much about the O.Co Coliseum, it is hands down the worst sporting venue in the United States.
And we have an update on that. It's funny that you should bring that up. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Las Vegas they got approval to spend $750 million yesterday of public money to build a football stadium out there. So it looks like the Raiders are going to be moving to Las Vegas.
The LV Raiders.
Now, it's public money, but it's not, because what they're probably going to do is just raise the hotel taxes and stuff. So the tourists are going to buy the locals a new football team.
So next time...
That's how you do it.
So the Desert Knights are going to be popular for exactly 2 years while that stadium's being built.
Oh, man, that's good...
They'll be yesterday's news.
One thing down the road, what I want to do...
anyway, you were saying the Oakland Stadium.
Okay, yeah. So it's baseball and football. So come September, you can see the gridiron on the outfield.
It's one of the last it might be the last multi-purpose stadium I can think of off the top of my head.
Well, for football and baseball, it is the last, because Yankee Stadium has soccer games, but that's a bit different. Their locker rooms, PMAC, they regularly back up with sewage. And it's generally the worst venue in the States. And I didn't want to go, and I said, well, maybe we'll just go there.
I begged you not to.
You're like, don't go to Oakland.
I've been to that stadium.
I've driven through Oakland. I didn't really enjoy myself a couple of times I've driven through.
Roll them up.
So, yeah, pretty much. So I say we have to get on another train to go to San Francisco. I'm like, let's just go there. It's got to stop. It's right off the BART system. And let's just try and buy $9 bleacher seats, walk in, look around, look how terrible it is, and leave. Get off this train, and there's a bunch of scalpers right there. And I was like, God, man. And in my mind, I know I only have 21 American dollars on me in cash, so I'm not going to bother with the scalpers because I don't have enough money. I don't want to get in that thing.
No.
The first scalper comes up to me and he's like, yeah, what are you looking for? You want tickets? I'm like, yeah, I just, and I'm like straight. I'm like, yeah, I just want some shitty tickets. I want some bleacher seats, the crappiest ones, just to walk in, walk around, and leave. He's like, oh, yeah, I got what you need, And he does the scalper thing where he shows you the tickets and he puts them in your hand. He's like, check this out. What do you think? What do you think? I'm like, hey, man, that's cool. I'm just going to go buy some tickets at the box office. He's like, man, box office is going to overcharge you. Cheapest ticket. You make some bullshit number up. And I'm like, hey, that's fine. That's cool. I'm going to go there and buy them. And so in his mind, he thinks I'm lowballing him and like being a greaseball trying to get him for...
No, you're just a man on his way about town.
And I'm just a simple, honest Canadian boy looking to legally acquire tickets. And so he's like, come on, buy him, what's your price? And I'm like, and I don't want to say I only have this much money because I don't want to waste his time. I'm being so polite, but he thinks I'm being the biggest hardballer in the world. And finally, he just looks at me under his breath. And he's like, oh, just give me $20 for the apparel, right? And I'm like, oh, I have $20. So I gave it to him all happy. And he's like, God damn, man, try to help a brother out. This is what happens. And he's muttering away. And I was like, oh, yes, he was black, if you must know, P-Mac. And so
I didn't say anything.
Neither did I.
Well, no white guy's going to say help a brother out. Anyway, so
I've said that before.
That's true, you have. So anyway, you walk across this walkway over the tracks through chain link and razor wire.
Yep.
And
I've made that walk.
Yep. And you walk around, and I'll say this, it makes the old BC Place look like...
welcoming?
Old BC Place look like a new Dallas Cowboys Stadium. Like, it's like the concourse is like McMahon Stadium. There's just razor wire and chain link fence everywhere, and just wires everywhere. Wires.
It's like being in an old person's house and they're not keeping it up.
So why didn't they go there when Fear the Walking Dead started?
Well, that's true. It is a good concrete bunker.
Yeah.
But
sorry, you've been talking about so much baseball. I had to throw in some science fiction stuff I might be remotely interested in.
Anyway, we got out of there alive, and
how many innings did you stay for?
1.5.
That away.
And I feel fairly proud that I can now tell people.
Well,
I lowballed a Oakland Athletics scalper.
Let me ask PMAC a question, just to get things back on hockey terms. Which meaningless tournament interests you more as a journalist? The World Cup of Hockey or the Young Stars tournament happening up in the Okanagan this weekend?
Here's the funny thing: the World Cup has distracted me enough that I totally forgot about the Young Stars, and I saw the result come in last night.
Yeah.
But I was busy watching science fiction, so I didn't stream the Young Stars game. But I was interested in seeing Thatcher Demko.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, he looked really sharp last night.
He let in
didn't get a lot of help. I heard
he let in 3.
Yeah. Oh, was it 3?
It was 3. Yeah, there was an empty netter, but I saw the highlights. I don't know if you saw them too.
No.
Jesse Puljujarvi, there were two of his 2 goals. Nobody was going to stop them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was no chance. It was man against boys last night. He was head and shoulders above everybody else because apparently he's the opposite of most Oiler prospects. He's physically mature and he's built like a man and not like Nugent Hopkins who's going to get that date to junior prom any day now.
Well, thanks to the World Cup.
Yeah. Yeah. Those orange and black jerseys. You look so grown up. Oh, thanks. Oh, thanks for coming. Oh, I still have to show 3 pieces of ID when I buy beer.
So Draisaitl and Puljujarvi, they're going to be fine.
Yeah,
they're
the guys who were not picked first are the ones who are going to pan out.
Typical Oilers right there. Well, except for that McDavid kid who's just terrified.
A lot now that he's out. A lot of stories are leaking out about Taylor Hall. Davidson on their team, the defenseman, had some things to say the other day.
Oh yeah,
on the radio in Edmonton about him, and apparently not the best influence or most professional guy in Edmonton.
I can see that.
What did I say?
It explains a lot.
There's more involved there than people considered.
Well, the first sign of trouble for me, and I remember this like 6 years ago, was when that oil change documentary series was out. And it's the littlest thing, and I really like kind of like locked into it, that they had Eberle and Hall as rookies living together alone.
Yes, I've heard some unofficial, unknown sources that have claimed that was quite the house, and that Nugent Hopkins soon moved in afterwards. So you had the three of these players in an 18-year-old drinking age in Alberta is 18. Just talk of the town. It was a lot of foot traffic in that house.
Just devil's dandruff everywhere.
You know what? Whether
that a 2-0 breakaway. Sorry to interrupt. They won't score.
Oh,
they did.
Leon Draisaitl.
Hey, there you go.
Let's talk about this American team, or as I like to call them, the second line.
I thought. Oh, those. See, I gotta say, some of the jerseys are great. The U.S. jerseys and the Czech jerseys are really sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Who buys a Team Europe jersey they just cut to someone?
I know. No, she's really hot. That was a giveaway.
That was a plant.
Bill Daly's just in the crowd.
Put this on.
All
right, 3, 2, 1. Okay, sure.
She's in section 4. Yeah, okay, ready? Okay, we're gonna cut to you. But then he takes the jersey off her. She doesn't get to keep it. All right, on to the next one. He's just out there with 3 sizes for camera shots.
You know what? It's probably an Oilers fan, and she loves her Draisaitl.
I love that USA is looking a little.
I'm surprised by this, I gotta say.
Really?
I'm really surprised.
Have you seen what's on that team?
Yeah. I know. There were some guys who made that team. I was like, really? Like Brandon Dubinsky made the team? I was like, oh.
And they're aside from Pat Kane, it's just everybody's favorite second liner.
But they're missing. I think the Team North America abomination that's in this tournament hurts the U.S. more than it hurts Canada.
A lot of good Americans on that
Johnny
team.
Gaudreau would be on that team. Eichel, Matthews, and Matthews would be a stretch, but I'd certainly take him over Dubinsky. And look who's going to the penalty box! Everybody's favorite RK-17.
God, that's the other thing. That's
a blazy penalty.
That's like a chop block almost in football. He took him out at the knee from behind.
Yeah, in the offensive zone. That's got Ryan Kessler. I think this is going to be the year we see the decline of Ryan Kessler. Less than 20 goals, less than 50 points.
How come?
He's got that big money salary that'll ride him out for the rest of his life. He's on a good enough team that he can be a third-line player.
Yeah, the Ducks are not who we thought we were, and we didn't let them off the hook.
They're still a good team. They'll still probably be successful, even if he doesn't play well.
Third best team in California this year. I'm predicting it. Kings are going to bounce back, and the Sharks are for real.
That's okay, because they're both really good teams. So,
But I think that he plays hard, and I think it's going to take its toll. And I don't think he's going to get the ice time he got last year.
Yeah.
So, I'm calling it right now.
I was actually thinking about, I was just thinking about the Ducks walking up here. And, they've rehired Randy Carlyle.
Yeah.
They've got Kessler and Bieksa, of all people, in these big contracts.
Never go full 2011 Canucks.
And it's just there's a lot of question marks on that team. Mm-hmm. And, yeah.
Maybe they'll sign Christian Ehrhoff, too.
Well, he's on the team PTO.
Didn't they sign somebody else from, Mason Raymond or something?
Raymond's in I don't know if it's a two-way.
He's in New York. Yeah, he might be in San Diego.
It's a three-way contract.
You got to say this, though, about a guy like Mason Raymond. If you're going to sign a contract with a team where you might end up in the AHL, good call on the city. Still a major league city. I've spent a lot of time in San Diego. I love San Diego.
It's a very walkable city.
It's a very walkable and friendly city. Also, great baseball stadium.
Yes.
Although scummiest GM ever. That's that story that leaked out today that their GM that they just fired was withholding medical records with trading partners.
Wow.
Yeah. So
you
can't do that. This isn't Any Given Sunday. You're not Al Pacino.
A couple things on the preseason. I watched some of the game of the Young Stars game last night. To see what Thatcher Demko looked like, and
no one's gonna make fun of you for watching that, Ryan.
No, see, that actually matters.
Yeah,
I usually do stream those games. I probably will watch some of the others.
It gets you percolating, gets you thinking about because the Canucks have been the furthest thing from my mind this summer.
Mm-hmm.
Could care less. Starting now to really think about it and starting to get excited. Apparently, Ulevy got full marks last night from everybody in the media.
Stetcher was apparently he had 9 other shots last night from the blue line,
and he's looking to make he says that's his line. He's making the team.
That's highly unlikely. They got because right now Trampkin is penciled in at 7.
Yeah,
if not higher.
Well, he's penciled in at 7, which means that's a lot of guys. And like for me, if I've got an injury, like I think Subban has done enough at the AHL level, and he's developed his game defensively enough that he's my first call.
Yeah,
I think that it would behoove the Canucks to be mature and Detroit Red Wings like and patient, and let Stetcher play 82 games in the Bush League this year
as their leader.
No matter how good he plays, do not call him up.
He's a defenseman, right?
Yes.
That's just what you do with a defenseman.
Just let him slow cook down there.
Well, the way the Canucks D drops throughout the course of a season, he'll get a couple games anyway.
You got Alex Biega. He's still under contract for another year.
They kept Subban on the farm last year, so yeah, I think the plan probably would be to keep Stetcher in the same position.
And I think Spiza might be traded before
the end
of this sentence.
Or waived.
Yeah. Well, no one's going to pick him up, though.
No one's going to pick him up in a
Yeah, I think if the Canucks are willing to absorb
make a bad deal,
an equally bad contract for a forward or something like that, maybe. Like, I heard that Calgary just signed this guy Chris Higgins who can't score goals.
Oh my God, I love how bad Calgary's going to be next year.
They're going to be pretty bad, and I think the Johnny Gaudreau situation is going to get worse before it gets better. Honestly, like, usually I'm against young guys going after this kind of money. For me, like, they want to offer him 6. Louis Eriksson's getting 6. Johnny Gaudreau's a way better player than Louis Eriksson. No disrespect to Louis Eriksson, who I think is going to be good for the Canucks this year, and he's going to help them.
Oh yeah.
But Johnny Gaudreau for me is a maybe you don't want to pay a guy for something he hasn't done yet, but for me he's an Art Ross Trophy candidate. He's in the conversation.
Absolutely.
He's an 80-point, 30-goal guy.
And Calgary has a history of trying to lowball its franchise players.
It will be cheaper for them to give him the $8 million over 8-year contract that if they bridge him at like 6 over 3.
Then he'll want like 9 or 10 if he has 2 good years.
He's going to win a trophy of some kind, an Art Ross or whatever, and then it's going to be 10.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. And you're Calgary. He's an American. He's got no loyalty to your market.
That's the other thing.
Like, you got to lock him in.
This is a guy from Philly, or he's somewhere in
America,
somewhere in real, America, exciting Northeast America, and you got to go to Cowtown with the oil price is what it is. Like, you're living in Edmonton or in Calgary in this time. Like, lock him down.
Lock him down.
Like, what are you gonna do? Oh, well, we can go. Like, who are you gonna sign instead?
Johnny Gaudreau's got L.A. Kings written all over him.
Oh yeah,
or Minnesota Wild.
I don't know. Yeah, why would he stay in
New York?
Exactly. Like, lock him down. Give him what he wants.
Florida's got those sweet new uniforms. I really like them, by the way. I think they're
you know
great.
what? I agree. When you saw them first up, they looked like they were super wide and boxy, but when you see them on
the ice, they look fantastic. Yeah. And they have that Montreal Canadiens bar across but they did the smart thing, and they don't have it on the back, so you can still read the number. Because that's been my problem with the Habs jerseys since I was a little kid.
You're like, what?
When they wear the Reds, I don't know who's who. I can't see it.
Maybe you need glasses.
It's just a jumble. I got 2015 vision.
Yeah, that's true.
Good.
He's got really good eyesight.
I got sharp eyes.
Hey, speaking of sharp eyes, and speaking of the Florida Panthers, I wanted to get your take on this because I read that the fancy stats boys, because that's what Florida is, they're going full fancy stats. They're using white pucks in practice.
Yes, I read that too. Interesting. I would think that might f you up a little bit though.
And I thought about that because I understand the idea. Focus, harder to keep an eye on it, but to translate into a black puck into a game, that could confuse me, and I'm thinking injuries.
Yeah, what if Louis doesn't pick it up and he takes one in the throat
like he does every year?
Yeah,
neck guard. No way.
Can't see down with that thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, Brizgalov's looking for an invite. He's been training real hard
down in Tallahassee or something.
Somewhere, yeah, Jersey.
Out in space, man. That's how you train for the NHL season.
He said it's NHL or bust. He won't sign in the KHL, and if he doesn't get a job by Christmas, he's going to hang it up.
How old is he?
36.
He's not that good.
But, like, there's a few other guys who are on that emergency, like, we need a veteran list that are ahead of him. There's a few guys who are ahead of him.
How come he's not playing? Did he get signed by Calgary yet?
No. They've tried everybody else. But they had Nick Backstrom last year. That was weird.
So who's ahead of him on the list? I'm thinking, like, Tom Barrasso.
No, like, Ray Emery. I don't think he has a deal.
Oh, yeah, Ray.
I'd call Ray before I'd call Briz. Guys like that.
Anybody that played for the Flyers, more or less.
Yeah, I might call Nick Backstrom before I'd call Brizgalov.
Well, Michael Layton's already off the table, so yeah, you're running out.
Yeah, I might inquire with the Canucks about the available of Randy Richard Backman.
I just got a text from Geeta. It's a group text, so I'll read it out loud.
No, I'm not going to check my phone. Yeah, everybody's picking up.
HC Lev Praha KHL team folded.
Oh, after 2 seasons.
When they made the finals, I remember that too.
And Yoggers is permanently closed.
No! This whole trip is blown.
Yeah, why is she even go there?
She might as well just fly straight home.
Yeah, leave your mom there. Just come back. Back to the World Cup for a second. 2 things. Okay. Oh, here we got a 2-on-1.
We got a 2-on-1. Pat Kane.
Not.
Yeah, this isn't going.
That wasn't Leon Draisaitl.
That was RK17.
No, the guy did not have consent to accept that pass.
Here's the thing I was thinking about the World Cup, and it's kind of a bit. Sorry.
Yeah, you need to do video of these just so you get our faces in response to some of this stuff.
There was a lot of overreaction about this tournament, and from the gimmick team to when it was held.
So do they is the championship game called the $1 million game?
The big game at the end.
The big game at the end, like the XFL.
Yeah. Oh, I guess we should rename it something better.
The $1 million game.
But the one good thing about hockey is, like, when you look at the storylines going into this tournament, you kind of complain about them like it's a TV show, or like you're like, what are they doing?
I can't wait to see if North America gets the final rose.
But then with hockey, once those storylines are kind of put on the back burner when the games are actually played, and those new storylines come in and new developments, and you kind of forget that there's still hockey to be played, there's something to be won, something to be lost, and I just kind of once this tournament starts going, you just kind of forget about Tyler Seguin getting a hairline fracture, and
I
don't know, but it's just it's hard to complain about this once the games actually start going.
Well, do you guys have predictions on who you think's going to end up in the finals in this thing?
Like, it's been all over the board. Like, USA looked really good against Canada in that first game, and now they're losing to Europe, who looked terrible in some of the games.
Well, I know, based on nothing, I'm going to say I think that we'll see the Canadians and the Swedes at the end. The Swedes have quietly gone about their business, and I think they're pretty stacked.
If they switch to Markstrom in net.
They might.
Lundqvist keeps letting piles of goals in every time he plays.
He looks a little leaky, a little leakless.
Markstrom is
hanging out with Johnny McEnroe a little too much.
100% on the saves.
All the
start the goalie controversy in Vancouver now.
Really? Yeah.
I don't think there'll be much of a controversy. I think that Markstrom will be the number 1 goalie when it's all said and done. If this team's going anywhere this year, they're going to need both of them playing pretty well.
Yeah.
But I think that if both of them are playing pretty well with a guy on the last legs of his contract, I think Slick Willie will get the call from upstairs, play the guy who's going to be here next year.
They're going to play the first 2 months like back and forth like they did at the end there at least.
I think that's going to add life to Miller's career. Like, I think that Ryan Miller is still, we've seen him. It's been weird. It doesn't feel like it's been 2 years. It's been 2 years he's been here, and when he's been healthy, he has not been the problem.
No.
At all. So the problem he's had is he seems to get hurt kind of at the wrong time. So if the Canucks are smart, they'll play him 40 games, because Markstrom, we learned last year that they made the right choice. We were all over the Canucks as fans. I'm going to say the collective we, because a few of us at this table, I think all of us kind of thought they made the right move. Like, Eddie Lack over Markstrom. Last year kind of told the story. They both played about 30 games, and the numbers don't lie. Markstrom is the better goalie. Not as good a dancer.
Not as sociable on the internet.
Not as flamboyant and sociable on the internet. Not as adorable. Doesn't have that Trudeau factor. But guy stops the puck.
I find it funny that Cam Ward still has a job in Carolina.
He's just always been like,
because
you know what I mean? Like, he's a constant, right? It's like you get married to something, an idea that Cam Ward is a good goalie. It's going to take a lot to convince people otherwise. He's a guy that they know in Raleigh. All the fans know Cam Ward. It's the jersey you can buy that won't go out of style.
It's like Brodeur in New Jersey. You can still buy that thing.
Yeah, exactly. Cam Ward.
But it goes to show you how good of a goalie Eddie Lack is when the year after, as soon as the first season he's in Carolina, Cam Ward gets re-signed for like 4 or 5 years or something.
I thought he would take that job last year. I think he had an opportunity to do so, and he blew it.
Was Ward's contract that long?
The new one?
Yeah.
It's a few years. It's multi-year.
He's decent.
He's fine.
He's fine. He's fine for what they're trying to do there, which is get relocated. Which, by the way, I did in NHL 17, moving back to Hartford.
Oh, that'd be so great.
But I still got Cam Ward. I can't trade him. I tried in the game. They wouldn't let me.
Why not?
Cam Ward must play for this franchise. All right. Well, it's in the game. It's in the game. It's real.
If I was to take a prediction, obviously Canada will play somebody in the final, and it will be Sweden, maybe Russia.
That's a much tougher group on that side. I think Canada. I was going to say before this game started, Canada and the U.S. will come out. Those two teams come out. But like that group on the other side is a tough group. That's a very, very difficult group to come out of because you got the Russians, the Swedes, and the Finns, and the kids. Right? Are the kids on that side?
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah,
not
they
sure.
are. They are. The kids are.
So is it?
Wait, you're running out of. They're not all on one side.
You got Canada, USA, Eurotrash, and the Czechs, and then you got.
No, that's right.
Then you got the Swedes, the Finns, the Russians.
Sorry, I thought you'd listed off 5 teams, and I was like, no, wait.
And team Orange is the New Black.
Team Children.
Team Millennial. Team texting on the bench.
Team Millennials. I like that.
Team emojis.
Texting while driving.
Team texting while driving.
So they've almost set this up for Canada to play the Young Guns.
That would get ratings.
I think the Young Guns would get destroyed.
I don't think they would.
Against Canada?
Here's the thing, and this is why this would be an interesting game that would even get PMAC to turn around. It'd be the classic age-old question. It would finally put to the test because we've all been talking about speed. Even the Sport Check commercials, new speed. It'll be.
There's a new Speed movie.
Well, yeah, they got to keep Connor McDavid over 50 miles an hour or he breaks his collarbone. It will be a chance to see whether hockey smarts like Joe Thornton and Patty Marleau working the puck around on the power play. Or not Patty Marleau because he's not. Yeah, Patty I think he is on the team.
No, he's not.
So.
Okay, well, anyway.
Just Jumbo.
Jumbo Joe. It's going to be, what is hockey intelligence
versus speed.
Yeah,
but I mean.
Canada's not exactly slow.
But that's the thing. Like,
but
the
North American team is so fast.
But I mean,
and I think goaltending, it's a toss-up. Carey Price on a string bean groin, or the guy who just won the Stanley Cup and looked pretty good doing it.
Oh yeah, that is the kind of the forgotten storyline. Is you have the Stanley Cup winning goaltender for the kid team.
And going into this, like last year when we were talking about prospective rosters, we were like John Gibson started the year in San Diego, and then ended up in an NHL All-Star somehow, which I still think is fishy. And Matt Murray was playing in Scranton. You ever been to Scranton, Jan? So both those goalies who were on the team were in the AHL at Christmas last year.
Yeah.
And now,
well, I mean, look at
now you might argue that that's the strongest goalie tandem in the tournament.
I can't. Well,
it's up there.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I was thinking about that too. Like, because if Carey Price, if his groin falls apart on him, you still have Braden Holtby, who is.
And what's he won?
You're right. He wins a lot of games.
And then you got Chris Osgood too. Yeah,
that's true. But in terms of absolute goaltending skill.
Yeah, Murray was not a passenger. Like he was a busy boy in the playoffs. Like they gave up a lot of shots.
If anything, I'd say the best goalies based on skill and pedigree is for Team USA.
Yeah, not today.
Not today, yeah, but John Quick and Corey Schneider.
That's not going to count. We got a goal.
Oh my God! Oh, RK7. But he is just a heel. He knows his role so well.
God love him, though. It'd be boring without him.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. And like when the Sportsnet did a story, we're talking about Ryan Kessler, by the way. Sportsnet did a story on, who's of Canada being the absolute favorite and like the juggernaut, and then it's like, okay, who is the favorite going into this tournament? Who's expected to win? And they cut to Ryan Kessler, and he's like, well, obviously us. And I'm like, that is awesome.
Oh, that's a good goal. It's ugly, but it's good.
Oh, Jamie Van Hockey.
Yeah. A guy that plays on the Leafs that we forget about from time to time.
Boy, I'm excited about those Leafs.
PMAC, do you think Toronto has done enough to get into the playoffs?
This year?
Yeah.
No.
Some people in Toronto seem to think so.
People in Toronto think that, that's...
Like, they're going in the right direction, but Edmonton's going to be a much better team than Toronto is this year.
I was thinking that. That's why I wanted to talk about which team we
I know
thought
they're
would be
different
better.
conferences.
Which shitty team is going to be less shitty?
I was like, well, the Oilers have done a lot. Like, I was like, well, they've drafted well. I think, they've done a lot in the last, they've made some moves. They got Lucic. I actually think that's a good fit for them.
Mm-hmm.
With Patrick Maroon, they've got some size up front. Cassian, another look. So they're a little bit gritty.
They got sandpaper on every line.
But their defense is a joke. And before you say it's not, you got to look at the top 4 pairing. You got Clefbaum.
Oh God.
Who I don't know.
Yeah, that's a guy.
That's a guy. And then you got Matt Fain. Who? Sakara.
And the guy. Oh, what's his name?
Exactly.
Darnell Nurse.
Yeah. Donovan McNabb. His nephew,
his offspring,
and then I forget who the guy that they're playing with Clefbaum on the top. Like again, we can't. It's hard. to
they got the guy they traded for Taylor Hall.
Yeah,
Adam
Larson.
Oh, sorry.
Clefbaum and Larson, two kind of unknown. They waved that off.
It looks like it.
I don't understand how this isn't a goal.
Well, it's NHL rules, so it's kind
But watch, it hits him in the chest.
I wonder if it hit him in the glove.
That's a goal. Here. This will tell it.
Great podcasting, but this is interesting.
Yeah, that's off his tit and then off Stepan's head and in the net. That's
can
a goal.
you not direct off the boob?
Yes, you can.
Well, then what are they?
That's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy, I tell you.
That's what you get.
Anyway, I'm not saying Edmonton's going to be a playoff team, but if I had to pick one of those two, I would probably expect Edmonton to make it before Toronto.
See, I think Toronto's a better team. Now, because the defense at Edmonton is still a joke, still bad.
There's a lot of unknown. They don't have bad players that we know of. They don't have a team of Speezes. They just have, we don't know what that core could do.
Talbot is a good goalie, but he's not great. I put Freddie Anderson way ahead of. I thought that was a great move.
It'll be good.
Anderson's a legit goalie.
It'll be good to see how Anderson plays behind a not good team, because we've seen that before where guys that have had good records,
like Jonathan Bernier,
behind decent teams, have gone to Toronto or other places.
Andrew Raycroft.
and proven to, disintegrate. And Anderson hasn't had to deal with that in his career other than, like the first half of this last season. But and he didn't look that great the first half, but they wound up winning the Jennings. So, I mean, he's got skill.
If you're asking me, neither team's going to make the playoffs next year. And I also say that one of them will draft in the top 5.
I think that Toronto's going to be better because the defense is...
I think they'll be better. I don't think they're going to... I think they'll still draft between 20 and 25.
Morgan Riley's the real deal. Jake Gardner, if they're smart, they won't trade him and they'll develop him. He's got all the tools.
Yeah.
I guess if their forwards take huge steps forward, then they'll have a shot. But neither team is likely to make the playoffs anyway.
They got to trade Nose Candy Kadri off that team. Maybe he can go play.
They re-signed him to a big deal.
He can play in Jersey with Taylor Hall.
New
frat house in Newark.
Jesus. I think that Babcock's had Babsox has kind of steered the ship the right way with Kadri. But if you ask me, I think that in the top 10 draft picks in next June, like the Canucks, the Oilers, the Flames, and the Leafs will all be in the top 10. Maybe the Habs. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, if Price comes back and I know a lot of people don't like their experimenting, but they're still a team that could be very good or very bad.
Well, they got Andrew Shaw. They got the bad Kostitsyn. They got Big Shea Weber. Like
Radulov actually grew up.
Oh, and Radulov.
I know it's a lot of ifs, but they're a team that I have no idea what to expect from them this season.
They're like the Canucks. We have no idea.
You're like, well, if they're all healthy and nothing goes bad.
People are burying the Canucks, but like if. Well,
you could say that about almost any team in Canada.
There's a few teams you can't say that about. I think Ottawa is going to be a goddamn disaster.
Oh God, yeah.
I don't think that team has a snowball's chance in hell of being good anytime
I feel
soon.
so bad for Senators fans, and we talk about this all the time. But it's so hard to care about that team when you have owners that just. It's a budget franchise with a rink in the middle of nowhere, and they're never going to get anywhere.
No,
not anytime soon.
No.
But with the Canucks, it's an if. If Louis and the Sedin stay healthy and are the power play specialists, Louis Eriksson will score 30 goals.
And if the kids take another step. Like Jake Virtanen's been working pretty hard this summer. He's staying out of trouble. He's in the gym a lot. That's good to see. but he's going to be hard pressed to make this team.
Yeah, I mean, like what if Tomo Rutu?
No, non-starter. He is there because you have to have 8 players who've played a certain amount of games in the NHL be in the lineup, and the Sedins and Eriksson are going to be playing in the Bettman Cup until the end of September. He is there to fill a quota. James Shepherd is, if you're going to say one of them is legitimate, because he can play the center and the wing and he can still skate. Tomo Rutu played 33 games last year. He scored as many goals in the NHL as we did last year.
So 62?
0. So, yeah, no, Tuomo is here.
Both of them are here
to fill a quota.
And a bit of a create a little storyline.
If you're gonna take a guy in your bottom 6 who doesn't score goals but is solid, it's gonna be Gauntz. You're gonna take something that you grew yourself.
So Shepherd could steal Gauntz's job.
Shepherd could steal a job. I think Dorsett's job is in jeopardy. I think Burrows' job is in jeopardy. I think Gauntz is on the team. Come hell or high water. It's Alex Burrows and Derek Dorsett that are trying to stay out of Utica.
Then I think you would give it to you would send Dorsett down to upstate New York.
I would say that Dorsett's more useful than Burrows at this point.
Just for the fighting?
Well, it depends on...
because somebody's got to fight.
So because that's the thing. Nobody can fight on the Canucks. And you're not going to have Jake fight.
And you don't want Trampkin to fight, but he could, and he'd be scary.
I think he wouldn't. You know what? He wouldn't fight. He would just throw you around, and then you're on the ground.
Have you seen that GIF that's floating around from what was the Leonardo DiCaprio movie where the bear's just tossing
The
them
Revenant?
Around? Revenant? Yeah, that would be Trampkin fighting.
So
just mauling people.
Yeah, I guess you are. I'll stand corrected. It's Burrows. I mean, he was awful.
I think they're already set, though. Like, the sort of lineup that we see right now, that's sort of the expected lineup, is going to be the lineup they go into the season. And they're going to keep Dorsett and Burrows, and both of them could easily be guys that sit in the press box next year. Or, if Burrows has recovered and can play a fourth-line role and be effective,
we'll see.
He'll be fine. They'd rather have him than any of these tryout guys.
Shepherd and Rutu are here to fill...
or win a job somewhere else.
Yeah, and they might know that. I was just gonna say that, PMAC. They're not stupid guys. They've been around the league a long time. It's a chance to get eyeballs on you. You're gonna get seen by everybody.
The old Brendan Morrison coming back to get a job in Calgary kind of.
I wanted to bring that one up because I remember the year they had Peter Schaefer and Brendan Morrison in camp. They kept Schaefer.
Yeah.
They sent Morrison packing, and he got picked up by Calgary and got 48 points.
Yeah, and Peter Schaefer, that was the 2010-2011 season.
Schaefer was on the team for exactly 6 games.
And he's like, I'm not going to Utica.
Yeah, he wouldn't, or wherever it was.
I think it was Chicago at the time or something.
Yeah, I ain't going to play in Rose Hill, Illinois.
And so he moved to Surrey, didn't he?
Peters, he coaches the
Surrey Eagles.
The Surrey Eagles.
Dave, you brought up something that we've given out before, and it hasn't happened yet, but our predictions for the 2016 Fedorov Trophy.
Yes, the Fedorov Memorial Trophy.
Now, for listeners that are younger or not from the Vancouver market, could PMAC explain for a second who Fedorov is or was?
A much younger brother to Sergei Fedorov, was drafted in the NHL twice. When the Canucks got him the second time he was drafted, they brought him in to much fanfare just for his name. He wore 61 in camp and 81 in the regular season.
And he looked great, though, too.
He led the team in points in his first preseason or second preseason, whenever he made the team. And, big guy, talented guy, put up good numbers as a junior, had been living in North America since he was 11 or whatever when he moved over with Sergei. And
he was assimilated.
I just mean he was used to the North
USA
American game.
number 1. Hey.
So and now
hot dog pizza.
And then I'll pass this to Dave. This was not the first highly touted or brother of superstar that the Canucks had.
they were even in camp the same year one year. And
this was post Steve Correa.
Yeah, what a power play it was. Correa to Fedorov and in past third string goalie Peter Sidorkowicz.
So with that, we're going to give out our predictions
for basically the award, to summarize. The Fedorov Memorial Trophy goes to the Canucks preseason MVP. Locked roster spot players excluded, of course.
Okay.
So
previous winners, even though we weren't handing it out, Hunter Shinkaruk
Hunter Shinkaruk, big
Jordan
time.
Subban.
Jordan Subban has not won it yet. Actually,
no, we would have given it to him.
Didn't
2 years ago? Was
Ben Hutton got it last year?
Yeah, he was a make good. Subban's only played one preseason game for the Canucks.
That's right.
In 4 years.
Really?
So
but he
hasn't won it.
destroyed that game, didn't he? We were at that game and he got 4 points.
He got 4 points and they sent him down.
Yeah.
But so Ben Hutton was a make good. Big winner was Hunter Shinnecock.
Big winner.
Big winner. Other winners include John Craighead, who fought his way to the title in 2003.
We'll do some research and we'll find our MVP.
I think Brian Allen's got his name stitched on this cup. So anyway, around the horn, because I got to actually get going.
Me too.
PMAC, who's your prediction for the Fedorov Memorial Trophy this September?
I don't know.
Also known as the Mr. September Award, alternate name.
It's probably gonna be like Tomo Rutu or something. That's the type of guy that comes in and makes you go, maybe we should.
6 goals in all 8 preseason games.
I'm gonna go off on a limb here.
Yeah,
Thatcher Demko.
He's a good solid pick.
And I think that he is going to have he could get. Well, I don't think he'll play a whole game, but he'll have no goals against and probably his first effort and really start that goalie controversy churning.
I'm going way off the board because he had injuries last year and had a pretty bad year in the AHL, and he's going to come into camp, play well, and muck up everybody's plans. I'm going to go Cole Castles.
Yeah, I was going to say him originally.
He's had a good year of training, and I think everybody's like, Gauntz. And I think Cole Castles go, I got something, but then he'll do nothing.
Remember the McDavid kryptonite that he is.
Yes, exactly. So I'm going to go Cole Castles.
So Dave's got Castles, I've got Demko and PMAC.
I wasn't even seriously picking. I don't know. Maybe we'll just stick with Subban. Maybe he'll actually get some games.
We all have our own respective.
Subban.
I thought one of you would take Subban, so I'll take Subban. I love the guy.
PMAC's going Subban, you're going Demko, I'm going Castles, but we're all going to keep a very close eye on Tuomo Ruutu.
Yes.
Ruutu Watch 2016 is officially on.
I'm going to bring up my Ruutu jersey I've been wearing around a lot.
You got a Tuomo Ruutu?
No, it's Yarko.
Don't tell him
He
that.
should wear 37.
It'd be awesome.
You can't. Unofficially retired.
Yeah. Oh, Rippin.
R.I.P.
Sorry.
So we want to know what your picks for the Fedorov Memorial Trophy for Canucks preseason MVP. You can tweet it to us or let us know, and then we'll give it away once the NHL season starts. Starting this year on the podcast, we're going to devote the last few minutes of the podcast to correspondence. If you have any Pucks on Net mail, questions, comments, anything to us, let us know. You can tweet us or send it on Facebook or email it to us, pucksonet@shaw.ca. Because this is the first week we've done it, there isn't a lot of correspondence.
I thought that Facebook was only for keeping track of what your mom's doing.
Yeah, well, my mom does like the
Facebook.
I'd just like to say,
Facebook is the new joint email account of parents.
Oh my God, yeah.
Baby boomers love to have joint email accounts.
My mom is Instagram and she follows me, and I gave her a stern talking to. I said, Mom, there is a perception that us youth have we portray on Instagram. You can like stuff, but lurk in the shadows. I don't want to hear any very proud of you, honey comments.
Proud of you.
So anyway, the only correspondence I have this week is from CS Durkach at @real_CS Durkach on Twitter. Looking forward to the podcast. Thanks for the hours of entertainment throughout the season, and keep up the great work. #Canucks. And not much else. So if you got something you want to say that isn't I don't want this to be just a schmooze fest. If you think we suck, tell us. We're happy to read stuff.
Oh, I love that.
We know we suck.
Yeah, we know that. But if you got some questions about anything or just a comment, let us know. And if we're just happy to interact, and that'll be the correspondence segment starting on the podcast. But that will wrap up this podcast, our triumphant return to the airwaves. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at PucksNetCA or PucksNetCa. And subscribe on iTunes, which is, again, if you want to help the podcast out, today put that microphone down. PMAC, you might have to do some plugs.
I've got a fan challenge to throw out there.
Oh, yeah?
If anybody out there who listens to the podcast and subscribes gets a tattoo of the Team Europe or Team North America logo, we will get you on the show for an entire hour.
Okay. That's how big?
It's got to be. It doesn't matter how big or small, but it's got to be permanent.
The hockey, the E Canucks
I don't want
logo?
to encourage people to do that.
I do. Come on. It'll be classic.
They're not putting your face on there. It's not like the shirt I'm wearing.
Yeah.
So do that. Get the tattoo. Let us know. Send a photo. If you want to help the podcast out in any way, the greatest way you can do it is subscribe on iTunes and leave a comment and give us a rating. Because of corrupt Steve Jobs and his iTunes algorithm, you give us a review today or tomorrow and a rating, and we shoot up the charts just like that. So if you got a second and you haven't done it yet, either in the iTunes program or the podcast app, Just take a couple minutes, write something funny, leave us your name or your Twitter handle so we know who you are, and we'll read it out on the old Podski here, maybe in the correspondence section. I don't know. And if you don't like Apple, tune in, Stitcher. I think we're on Spot. No, we're not on Spotify yet. I'm trying to do that. You can find everything at pucksnet.ca, and make sure you follow our friends over at Rabbit Habs. And I don't know, anything you want to close out on?
Team North America tramp stamps.
That logo looks like a melted swastika.
Tramp stamps.
Move, get on.